Hey guys, so what we're going to do today is we're going to deploy our Next.js project in our Kubernetes cluster as a serverless function using OpenFaas. So essentially what OpenFaas is, it's a framework. It helps you in auto-scaling your Kubernetes cluster. It comes with metrics like Prometheus and tons of other stuff. And also they have a function store and templating system, and they support tons of languages like .NET, C Sharp, and Node.js, JavaScript, all that jazz, and even Golang as well. And you can either deploy as a Docker file or create a handler function and call that handler function as well, or invoke that function. So essentially what we're going to do today is we're going to create the Next.js project, convert it to a Docker file, and then upload to our Kubernetes cluster by installing OpenFaas into a cluster. So before that, we need a Next.js project. To get that, I've found this Next.js example folder. I'm gonna select the API routes one today. I think that's much more easy to implement. Let's copy this create next app. So we'll copy to our local directory. I've created a folder called example next. Let's open our terminal here. Let's copy the project to our local directory. And also what you guys need to do is you need to install the OpenFaas CLI for creating a function, getting the templates and things like that. You can just call this curl command, or for Windows you can do follow over here. And then let's take a look what happened. And also we're going to deploy it to our own DigitalOcean Kubernetes cluster. So in DigitalOcean there's a thing called Marketplace, and essentially in Marketplace they give you pre-built images. So over here what we can do is we can essentially deploy OpenFaas rather than creating our own cluster and installing OpenFaas by ourselves. This is just one click install for OpenFaas. Take a look over here. Okay, so our Next.js has installed. Let's change this folder name to API for now. Let's see. Let's take a look in the package.json file. So essentially what we can do is we can call next start for our production build, and we need to build that build first. Let's do that. Let's change our directory to API and say yarn build for building our production file. Let's take a look what is essentially happening in our API routes. And let's go back here, and I think we'll create our own OpenFaas Kubernetes now. Let's click over here. So essentially we're gonna have 2 nodes for now rather than having 3 nodes. I think 2 nodes is enough. Single node is enough for this tutorial, but I guess you can't have, minimum requirement is 2 nodes. So let's change this to standard node, $10 a month, and 2 nodes. Call this OpenFaas API. Alright, let's create the cluster. Let's go back to our app now. Let's do yarn start and see if the app is working. Go to localhost 3000. Seems like everything is working here. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to create a function now. Let's go back to the docs. Now here you can see the create function section. Scroll down. If you invoke this command, you can see the list of templates they give us for different languages. You can also create for Golang, Node, Ruby as well. So what we'll use today is we'll be using the Dockerfile template, creating our Docker container. And for creating a template, we can use this command called new and passing the language. So let's close this out, change the directory back to example, and we'll say pass CLI new lang Dockerfile, and we'll call just call it app for now, and see what happens, what all things they give us. Take a look in the folder here. They give us this Dockerfile template, creating our Dockerfile, and app.yaml file. So this is where we'll say what language we are using. Let's copy this Dockerfile inside our API folder. So that's going to be our handler function, and so remove this app over here. So we'll say our handler is inside API, and this image tag is essentially you need a Docker Hub account. So go ahead and create a Docker Hub account, username and password, and then what you can do is you can say Docker login and pass in the username and password. Once you've logged in, you can say your username here. So my username is corner hq/ and I'll pass in the image as app itself rather than something else. I think I'll call it API. I think API is better. Change this to API as well. All right, so here the gateway means this what gateway we're gonna access our function through. So we just leave it to 8080, and that is it for app.yaml file. And in our Docker file, we need to say essentially what they do here is they call the watchdog. So you might be wondering what this watchdog is. So what watchdog is, to take a look in the design and architecture watchdog, we give a really nice explanation here. Responsible for starting and monitoring the function in OpenFaas. Essentially how we're going to start our function is by saying yarn start in our package.json file. So that will start our Next.js project. So for OpenFaas to execute a function, we're going to specify our yarn start in the F process. That's how it will come to know. Just say yarn start here, and that's enough. And that's it for our watchdog to invoke the function. So we need to install the package.json file and also pass in the .next. This is how .next.js comes to know what project to execute. And we don't necessarily need to copy all those, just .next is enough. So after let's just copy this work directory here, remove that, change this to we'll call this API, and home will say user, and then we'll say we'll just change, we create an app group called app. That's all right. And then what we need to do is we need to copy our package.json file. So copy /edge file to our current directory, and then we'll do a yarn install, and we'll do a production install. Let's say run over here, and after that let's copy over the .next folder. It's a /.next. We say copy here, and then we copy it over to our next folder here. After that I think that's it. And also I was checking out this Next.js template for OpenFaas, and what I found out was search. If we do a search over here, in their Docker file they specify upstream URL. I think that's a better approach rather than exposing. So let's copy this over and I'll explain to you what happened here. So what they do is essentially when we start our Next.js thing, it opens up in localhost 3000, so we need to upstream it. So what they say is mode is HTTP, and upstreaming the 3000 port, and they just call this exit timeout if things are late, and that is it for F processes over here. I think that's it, things to work. So let's just change this to mhart hash mhart alpine node. That's a better one. Let's change this to latest. Right. I'm just gonna essentially change this to API. I think API is better. Change this to user API and change over to here. All right. So let's start our let's build our Dockerfile. To build our Dockerfile, we need to say fast CLI and build command. So it builds out using a Dockerfile and the app.yaml file. So here it says we need a valid image name. Let's change this to stack. Now things will start working. Okay, this might fail because take a look in the package.json file. You need to install bcrypt. For bcrypt to work, you need the build essentials in Python. So let's do a little search to Docker bcrypt build essentials. Bcrypt. And for installing come on. So let's copy this over for getting bcrypt installed. Seems like an error was produced because it says bcrypt lib. I think you need Python and things like that. So to make this work, make our container small. We're gonna make this to a multi-stage install. So let's say from make, I think for app to work you need node. I don't think Alpine will work at all. Call node and then copy that. I think I got removed from my clipboard. Copy that over. Okay, run here. After running, we'll copy our package.json file. Call this node as build. Copying JSON file, let's install the production. Let's change the directory first. Call this API itself. Okay. Right, so after production in our mhart, work directory, all that jazz, and then we don't need this. we need to copy from build, and what we need to copy is from /u/API. We copy it over here, current directory, and we don't need to do yarn install anymore. Just copy Next.js and all that. I think that is enough. Let's take a look here from node as build, installing Python, change directory API, copying package.json, and then installing production. And then in our second stage, work directory API, doing this initial stuff, changing, and then we're gonna copy over the things inside /API for current directory. We're already inside API, so we'll do this, copy over .next, and that is it. So let's save this. I build again. Okay, so everything seems to work smoothly. Let's, what we can do is we can essentially run our Docker image in our local machine and see if it's working. So how we can do that is by saying docker run, and the code 8080 for our current local machine, and the 8080 are specified as our gateway, and the image that we have specified here. And let's execute that. Seems like unable to find it. Yes, I already have it here. Let's remove this. That's getting deleted. Try to run my build again. Okay, let's take a look in my Docker hub. Log in now. There seems to be nothing inside my Docker hub. It seems to be there. Let's see what's there. Oh, okay, yes. Now I understand. It should be API over here for user. And that'll work now. Right. Let's see. Work again. Okay, so things seems to work now. Take a look. Localhost 8080. Okay, so it's lagging behind. Okay, so already in use. So this error usually pops up when we use this watchdog, classic watchdog. For some reason, this error always pops up. You can change this to OF watchdog and use the 0.7.6 is the latest version, I guess. Try to build it again. Okay, let's run our Docker run again and see. Okay, refresh it. Seems like everything is working now. So what we need to do now is we need to deploy the same thing in our Kubernetes cluster. So before that, we have essentially started our Kubernetes cluster with OpenFaas. So what we can do is we can download the config file, and then we can point to our config file by, and before that you need to install kubectl for making things to work in your system. In the marketplace they might define, they have a small tutorial going on in marketplace. Inside class, I think they define, I don't know, yeah, you need kubectl to be installed. You can go to the kubectl installation guide, install and set up kubectl, and just follow this installation guide for installing kubectl to your local machine. And then what we can do is we can specify the config file to our kubectl. So we can say export kube config and pass in our config file that we have downloaded. So my config file is inside the OpenFaas. What was the name I gave? Name was given OpenFaas API, so it should be OpenFaas API something. Yes, OpenFaas API kube config YAML. So right now our kubectl is pointed to our Kubernetes cluster using this config file, and then you can follow over here. What they say is you need to essentially install Dockerfile as well, and after that you can check if the cluster exists. Seems like the cluster exists, and then let's get the let's save it to our team, and we need to pass in our name. So name is OpenFaas API, name that we gave, and then we'll say we'll get the context. Okay, so after that we'll pass in, we'll set the context and we pass in our name of our cluster, and then before that here they show us to install the OpenFaas CLI. We have already done that, and after that let's copy this over for our to view our load balances IP. To make that work, I think it won't work in fish. I have to change to bash, paste that over. All right, so here's my gateway, and after that let's get the passwords. We log into our OpenFaas. The password is in my password.txt file. You can essentially cat the password text file by saying this. I'm not going to do that. I'm just gonna, and then you can say, you can pipe it through to your Faas CLI login, and let's just pipe that through. All right, so it's in my HTTP 139.800. Click this link, it'll take you to the UI. You can pass in admin, and then you can pass in the password from your what was it, password.txt file. I'm just going to do that right now. I'll just do this, get the text file from here, get that command for getting text file, and then I'll just copy the password. I don't think if you paste the password here it might show up. Nope. Sign in. Now you can see I've signed into my OpenFaas inside my Kubernetes cluster. Now what we can do is that you can check if it works, and this is an essential step. If it's not working, you check if things work or not. Let's just call what essentially it does is it'll check out the store list. We don't really need to do that. We can check out what the store, this is here, over here, this is the store list, and let's see with our CLI we are able to deploy the node, what was it, node info. This is a simple I think it's a simple command for get a machine info you've deployed. So this is a function actually, so if you can actually deploy to your UI as well by saying deploy over here, or else through your CLI. I'm gonna just do that to check if my CLI is working or not. I'm just gonna copy this and paste that over. Okay, so need to do this over here. I need to say deploy first. So seems like everything is working now. Let's take a look in the UI. Let's see where it's been deployed, and with the UI you can essentially delete it as well. So this function is right now removed from a Kubernetes cluster, and then and that is it, I guess. So what we need to do is we need to push our Next.js project to our Kubernetes cluster. So inside our current hash prompt, I'm going to change my directory to my folder here. So I'm going to change it to documents example, next example. So this was a project we were building. Now what I'll say is I'll just say Faas CLI up, and what up is going to do is going to build and push it to our Kubernetes cluster, and essentially what's happening is it's going to push it to our private Docker hub, and from there it's going to pull it to our Kubernetes cluster. And it seems like I think I have selected the wrong, yeah, supposed to example next, cd back to example next, and now we'll say Faas CLI up. Okay, so I need to do Docker login here, asking for my username. For why I'm doing this here is because I've actually moved into Bash, so seems like my Docker login and username password got deleted. I need to log in again, so I'll inject my right, so I'm just password. Okay, successfully logged in. I'm gonna call that up, Faas CLI up again. All right, so everything seems to work now. It says API failed to deploy. I need to log in again. So this is a problem with Faas CLI. I need to keep logging in. I'm just gonna say Faas CLI login. Where was it? Yeah, okay. I just need to pass the password. Get that password. Password. That password. I need to paste my password over here. All right. I just pasted my password and press enter. Things seems like I'm logged in now. And there you go, you just saw my password. All right, I just did Faas CLI up again. There's nothing to worry about. I guess I'm just gonna kill my Kubernetes cluster and restart a new one again. I'll just get a new password. So everything got accepted. It's been deployed. 202 accepted code. Take a look. Take a look in our thing. The OpenFaas refresh here in the API. And this is the API. It's ready right now. Let's take a look at the API. Let's copy this over. Let's go to our API. These things are working. I think there's an error 404. What is the status 404? Okay, let's see. Because it's insecure. I have no idea why this error is happening. I think that is it for this video. And this is how essentially you're gonna upload things to OpenFaas in your Kubernetes cluster. Thank you guys for watching.